Okay, now that Anthony covered the sales stages, I'm gonna cover how we do that in the systems. We're gonna start with how we do the timestamps and also how we amount stamp every time you change a stage. And also, if you skip stages, it's also gonna cover basis for timestamping previous stages that were skipped. So here we have all the stages that Anthony covered in his video. They're all basic and generic stages, but I also included a SQL stage for when a new lead just converted. If you watched my previous video, you'll see that once it's converted, it means it's a SQL. I'm going to cover all these stages that were presented by Anthony in his video. They are all generic, but here they are again: discovery demo completed, use case defined, proposal sent, negotiations completed. Now for the timestamps field, I included one per stage. Here we have 4 stages. We don't timestamp the close one because it's already timestamped with the close date field. So we named each timestamp field as a daytime stage 2, meaning it's for the discovery demo completed. Then daytime stage 3, 4, and 5 for use case defined, proposal sent, and negotiations completed. The same applies for the amount stamping. So amount stage 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's check how the automation works. Here in the screen, you're gonna see that it's a very similar flow with the lead lifecycle video. And we're gonna start with a record trigger flow that will run on the opportunity object. When a record is created or updated, the entry conditions will be for when the record dot type, so the type field is new business. We want to track all the changes that are done in the new business opportunities, and the stage is changed. So we use this formula. So record dot stage name is different than record prior stage name. It's very interesting because you can use the same formula for when an opportunity is created, because the record prior doesn't have a stage. It's going to be different than the stage name that's currently in place for a new record. You want to run the flow for updated records when every time this record is updated or meets the condition requirements, or you can use this the one below. It runs only when this happens as well. Then we want to optimize the flow for fast field updates as well, similar to that previous video. That's the reason why we chose the assignment element. The assignment element can also be used and it runs similar to what the update element does. So the assignment will change the value before it's saved, and then when it saves with the new value in fields that you chose for the assignment element. I'm going to show you how it's done. Right now, all the fields that we presented earlier in the video are here. I always think it's important to include the last stage change field, because oftentimes people are curious to know, hey, when this stage was changed, and I don't know, they wanted to see it on the screen pretty easily, and then you can place it wherever it's more comfortable for the end users. I like to include when a flow gets triggered, just because for me as an admin, it's much easier for tracking anything that's a problem. If I do have how to track all the flows that ran on a record. Now that we have all the fields here, you're gonna see that I used formula for most of the values that we need to change for each of the fields. The only one that we didn't include a formula is the last stage field, because it equals to the current date when the flow runs. So let's check the formulas. You're gonna see that the amount formulas are the same. The date time formulas are also very, very similar to each other. Let's check the date 25 formula. So we have two if statements. The first one says that when the timestamp for stage 2 is blank, then keep the existing timestamp, record prior date timestamp, datetime stage 2, else, and then we put another if statement, if the probability equals or is higher than 25%, we use the percentages per stage because it makes the formula so much shorter and much easier to handle, easier to write. If the probability is higher than 25%, then at the now timestamp, we use the formula now. It gives the timestamp for now when the flow is running. Else you put a null. Doesn't change anything. We use the probability here because it also guarantees that the field is populated even if the stages are skipped. So imagine a later stage will have a higher probability. It will also cover bases for stage skipping. For the next stage formula, the only difference is we change the stage 2 to be stage 3. Here, here, and here. But now we change the probability to be 30 because that's the stage 2's probability. You can check the stage probability, go into opportunities, and then choosing the stage field. That's where you configure your stages and also you put probabilities on that. Now it's same for date to 50, date to 80. It's very similar to the amount formula. It's two if statements. Check if the amount stage field, the amount stamping field, here it's amount stage 2. It's not blank. And also check the probability so you can add the amount field or not. With that, that's how we call it opportunity velocity works. You're gonna make sure all your stages are time-stamped, all the amounts are stamped, and also you make sure even if the stage skipped, you still have the ability to timestamp and amount stamp when that happens. Thank you. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe for more videos from Inkscape.